Howdy, all of you delicious people. I'm here today to review Hit Monkey, the first 3 episodes of the first season. So, going into this, I thought there was something where, the further you go on in the show, the more interesting that it'll probably become. But you just kind of have to get through the beginning runs of it just kind of like being severely generic until it actually gets somewhere. We have a story that is to really just be carried by not Hitmonkey, but by some hitman named Bryce, which is to be a character that within these first 3 episodes is to talk to death. How much does this guy have to talk in one episode? Good God, I know that they hired Jason Sudeikis through this show, and immediately that caught me worried because I'm just like, oh my God, are they gonna basically have him be the guy that ba 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 and has to just like bury this show with dialogue? And here we go. This is a person that, like, right out of the gate, right in the pilot episode, we just have Bryce who's talking about his daddy issues and so on and so forth while this guy is driving him to some location, and I'm like, oh my God, here we go. This is gonna be what the show is, just Bryce burying us in dialogue where we're just like, God, like, this guy is too much. Like, I would be grateful if they had one whole episode where we don't have Bryce at all. Just to, like, give us some, like, something other than Bryce to just, like, ba 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 ba. I'm like, God, 3 episodes and I'm already sick of this character. But there is some goofy fun with this, but really all that matters is us getting through more of these episodes. Really, we don't have a really giving a crap mentality about, I guess, the voice actors or the cast of this show, or it's probably just too early, but I think just a lot of people just don't give a rip. Because I was like, it was easy to watch 3 episodes, but it was extremely and utterly difficult to find a whole entire cast of names and whatever. And so I had to go through and rewatch numerous parts of episodes to just kind of get like, okay, like this is to evidently be this person's name, so on and so forth. And I hope I'm going to remember that somehow when we get further into the show. Like, it would just make me want to be interested in just, like, doing this in all one fell swoop of a thing to have, like, because I would have taken numerous hours to go and trying to find names of whoever, and I couldn't. So I might as well just could have, hey man, I'm going to review the whole season in one fell swoop. Just get this done. And, like, names don't matter, I guess. So I would say that this show has some potential, and luckily it's not like MODOK. Like, MODOK had a whole entire episode where it had nothing to do with us trying to understand the origin of that character. That was always to be some, like, robot chicken, like, thing where you have this character, and now here's some kind of theme throughout the episode or gimmick that is to be placed through the entire episode. And here's a splash here and there of a Marvel character, where it feels like this is trying to adapt itself onto the Hit Monkey comic book, because basically I went and looked for the like a quick summary of the comic book, and I'm like, oh, this is straight up adapting from the comic book, and so hence why, like, you don't have like Deadpool and a number of people that are in that world in this story, because it's kind of a build up to that. And some people may not even know that this is to be into the Deadpool world of things. And that was my only fascination with wanting to see this show, was because I'm like, oh, like, this is a character from the Deadpool world. So I'm like, oh, okay, so I want to see how this develops. Like, I want to see where this show goes. And maybe if it hopefully attaches itself onto like a Deadpool equivalent kind of thing, where I think eventually they should really have this character be mixed in with the team rather than being an individual character, because this character does not talk. This character doesn't talk. Like, he supposedly has a dialogue going with Bryce, which comes off as this kind of Han Solo Chewbacca kind of thing, where we have Bryce who's to supposedly understand Hitmonkey. But, like, yeah, it's to just be like that kind of thing where we just have the monkey who's like, and like, speaking monkey or chimpanzee, like, monkey language. Let's try and come up with the monkey language equivalent. But yeah, so with that said, like, I didn't get really interested or really give until episode 3, and I was like, okay, here's where we're starting to present some kind of visually interesting things. Furthermore, we are, of course, to have, I guess, been told already through kind of the early set of things that we're going to eventually get characters like Lady Deadpool, which in the comic book, Deadpool was to be put into the Hitmonkey part of things. So I'm like, okay, so they're just changing the story up slightly, because it's like, oh, well, Bullseye had been used far too often in shows, movies, and whatever. So let's just have Lady Deadpool. Ooh, the slight tweaking of things. Ooh, wow. But also we're to have like Silver Samurai supposedly in this show somewhere. And if we didn't have like a quick reference of this guy somewhere in the show in the early pilot of things. And so, like, I'm like, Silver Samurai, like, they could have picked somebody else, like, whatever, like, because the Wolverine movie, like, if they're gonna try and do something different, like, Silver Samurai just doesn't feel like that's it. Like, they could have come up with somebody else that hasn't been used or has a heavy rotation of being used, but I guess they were just like, hey man, like, it doesn't matter. Like, we're just gonna be so generic in this show that using these little references here and there of certain characters, like, it's just to put something out there. Because Disney Plus is to need content, Hulu is to need content, and plus Disney has just been known for chucking out these kind of animated things. If you haven't caught like the Guardians of the Galaxy animated shows, or possibly which I actually thought the Guardians of the Galaxy animated show was actually pretty interesting. There's one point where it's to be like, I think Thanos, Carnage, and stuff like that. There's a number of like Spider-Man animated stuff, like Ultimate Spider-Man. I think was kind of interesting to kind of put that together. But I think they're going to go and do another one somewhere down the road. We're going to get X-Men 97 coming out soon, which is great. But yeah, so let's go into that double 5, because I've otherwise spent too much time talking about Hitmonkey. Let's go into it. Spoiler time, spoiler time. It's about the time we get to spoil this episode. So, the pilot episode is to showcase that Hitmonkey is to be with a bunch of monkeys in some place where they're to be having these kind of like hot baths of sorts. So, in this kind of cold like environment for whatever goofy reason. So, while Hitmonkey is just enjoying the time of talking with his other monkey-like people, we go off and we have Bryce, who of course is to be going off to get these kind of these guns that I guess are to be these precision guns where Bryce doesn't even need to be there to kill whoever he's killing, like, because these guns go off automatically. So I'm like, why is Bryce even there? He could be like in the building and like hit a button and then run off. But I guess that's just me. So Bryce is to go on and is to find this old lady who is to be coughing fairly frequently. And so Bryce is to, like, I don't know who this woman's name is. Maybe there is going to be some name at some point that is to be said somewhere, but I couldn't find a name for the life of me. Or I went through the episode numerous times to see if there was a name to be said somewhere, and it wasn't. So Bryce goes off to this old lady to go and get these guns. And so this old lady is to tell Bryce that she is to have given him this backpack full of money, this weird girly looking backpack, and it's to tell him that he'll get half now and then half upon arrival at this airport where he's to get the second half of this money. So Bryce is like, okay, great. So Bryce goes off and gets these guns that are to basically do his job for him. So I'm like, why is he even an assassin? Like, if someone else is gonna do his job for him, which is basically to be these guns, but it's whatever. So we have like a whole like Bruce Willis Jackal thing going on here. So Bryce sets up all these guns. I guess that's the real hard part, right? And so now we have this politician called Ken making his way out to try and put together some kind of campaign to go up against a guy named Hideki. If I'm ill pronouncing that, I apologize. Hideki is, I guess, to be working alongside with a guy named General Kato. And General Kato will be the main focused villain in this story, but I guess it's all just heading right back to Hideki. Or Hideki? Hideki? You have Hideki? You have big Hideki? Anyways, pushing on. That I'm sorry. I had fun with it. So, if I'm ill pronouncing that, it's probably my own fault. Because I wasn't paying attention or close enough attention to the names of things. Funny enough, the names of these characters I got straight off of the comic book instead of really going through and trying to find it somewhere. I just went through the description and found these names. So pushing on. So Bryce is going to, of course, use this certain kind of weapon that is to go and shoot Ken, and it is to kill him. And a guy named Shinji, who is to be George Takei's character, ends up getting shot in the arm and ends up just having a of course, a brace on to just kind of make it through that injury. So Ken is to die, and so for some reason it seems that Bryce's character is to suck at shooting, because when really looking at it, like, he not only he shoots his target, but then like the other guns just kind of shoot wildly at other kinds of things, or Shinji is just to be shot in the arm. And so all of a sudden we have Ito, who is to go with his partner to try to make it to this building where this guy had shot Ken. So we end up having Ito's partner making it up before Ito does. And so while Bryce is to make his way down and make his way out of there, where I guess he is to be several things high, and like no one is to use an elevator, everybody's to bizarrely use the stairs for whatever reason. Ito is to go and make his way all the way up the stairs to find that his partner is dead. So I'm like, okay. So he's just going to get another partner, and it's not really going to matter. But really it just goes into Ito now saying like, oh, well, I have to avenge my partner. Whoever I find who had done this, like, I'm going to get my revenge, and he's not going to get cuffed. I'm sorry, but that's not going to be a problem. That, like, your story is pointless because Ito, like your partner, who the person is to kill your partner, is going to die, sadly. So you're really not going to have that problem. So, so Bryce is to go on and to run off, and so he is to go to this place that he is supposed to go to this like airport place because he ended up having to take some kind of train to make it there. And so he makes it to this airport, and there's to be this military force there called the 128s. And so these guys are just there to try and kill Bryce off. And so Bryce is to luckily have a contingency plan. So these guys go and take this guy's backpack, and it's like, hey, like, this is the money that you're going to get paid here. And like, ha 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 ha. So Bryce goes and plants an explosive in the backpack and kills most of these soldiers off. And so Bryce is to, of course, scramble on to weirdly make it to, of course, where all these uh, monkeys are, as well as Hitmonkey, to just kind of just hide out. Where all of a sudden it seems that Hitmonkey is having some kind of chaos like talking with his superior about like, hey, why is he here? Like, why are you helping him? Because weirdly we have it where these characters are going and like the monkeys are going and like chewing up these herbs and spitting it into uh, Bryce's mouth, and he's like, that's good. I'm like, gross. But of course it's to be gross. So Bryce is to consistently get this herb spit into his mouth, and so he just easily takes it and consumes it and whatever. And so Hitmonkey is to now be upset with his superior monkey, and so they're fighting it out about why this guy should be here and so on and so forth. And Bryce is to get his second wind back, and is to go on and try to practice his shooting skill with a bunch of snowed men assassins. And so Hitmonkey is to go and take and like showcase his skill by grabbing some stick from one of the snowmen and starting to clock all of them. And so Bryce is Bryce. So Hitmonkey is to tell his other monkey, his superior monkey, seemingly to be their leader, because he's the oldest, that hey, like he's going to bring other people here. Like it's just going to be a matter of time, and like I think at some point he's like brought people here one way or the other. Where really what they had brought, really what Bryce had brought was like snowmen, and so like that's what Hitmonkey used to think, that like, oh, these snowmen, like he's basically thinking about bringing other people here. So we push on to have the 128 and now this Snow Gear all coming to go to take down Bryce. And so what ends up happening is all these monkeys end up, sadly enough, getting killed. PETA's gonna have a field day because they're like, what the fuck? Like, this show kills monkey. It's animated monkeys, so I guess it doesn't matter. Or does it? Is it still the, like, I don't know, PETA. Let me know in the comments below if you're a PETA person, like, how you feel about this show. Like, people could just be like, it's an animated thing, who cares? Like, it's not real murder, and plus, why would it be anyways? Or why would it be a thing to do anyways? Because CGI, all kinds of stuff, it's all fake. They're not actually hurting actual animals. That never happens in the show or a movie. And so, like, it's all fake stuff. Come on. PETA getting upriled about some monkey murder for an animated thing. What am I thinking? So, but not only does the monkeys die, but then also Bryce gets killed also. And so now Hitmonkey is to be holding Bryce in his arms as Bryce had died. Just like, hey man, like I'm sorry about what had happened because these guys were all brought here because of me, and I'm sorry. And so Bryce ends up dying, and but then Bryce ends up just coming back as a ghost, where he's basically just tethered to Hitmonkey, and every time Bryce is to just kind of vanish away and just try to go back is to try to seek his afterlife. He ends up getting re-tethered back to Hitmonkey, and so like Bryce is like, is this purgatory? Like, what is this? Like, why am I not? Why can't I just move on yet? So, because these two characters are on this path of revenge, so Hitmonkey is to go after these 128 guys, and so he is to murder and kill and go through all of them. Just shoot through all of them, because I guess Bryce was to have a gun on hand, and we have Hitmonkey who's just kind of figure out how to like hold on to it. But Hitmonkey is to go and take from these guys and start blasting through them. And so one of the 128 guys makes his way back to Kato, which is to be General Kato, which is to be the boss of all this. And so the one guy ends up screaming, "Monkey!" And they're just like, what the does that mean? And General Kato is like, monkey must be some code word that we have to figure out what the heck it is. Because, like, they can't believe an actual monkey is murdering people, especially with these guys being so skilled as they are. So, the last soldier is to die off. And so, now we have a moment where Kito, or Kakito, Akiko, there we go. Akiko is to try and convince Shinji to take on Ken's campaign. That really Ken was so close at beating out his Hideki. Like they were kind of, there was a really close race. And so Shinji was, I guess, the person that was really helping Ken do this campaign. So, like, Akiko is like, well, why don't you just run anyways? Like, basically, like, you can easily convince people to have them be on your side. And so Shinji is to use Ken's funeral to put this speech together and say, like, hey, like, Ken had died, and I'm gonna take up his torch, and I'm gonna run, and because it would have it's what Ken would have wanted, and so Hideki is to just be so like upset with Shinji because it's like, oh, you're using this funeral to try to put out that you're campaigning, and so. But we end up pushing on. So Bryce is to first off go all the way back to like where this whole thing started, and with Hitmonkey. So Hitmonkey and Bryce goes back to the old woman who had done some little bits of coughing. So Hitmonkey is to go on and find out that this girl is to be running this like gaming ring, and so all of a sudden when they arrive at this place, this old lady is to gas Hitmonkey and knock him out. Hitmonkey is to reawake, seemingly on some like assembly line where he is going to slowly but surely get cut. And so now it's like a race against time where Bryce is to kind of tell Hitmonkey like, hey, like use your hands and try to like go and like pull this one little hook out so you can get out of here before this thing ends up chopping you and killing you. So luckily at the last ditch second, Hitmonkey ends up getting out out of his hooks. And so we have Bryce who's telling Hitmonkey, it's like, well, hey, can you learn some kind of like sign language or something? Because like Bryce is to go and give Hitmonkey the finger, and it's like, yeah, that's some real communication between the two of us. But again, it seems like we have like a Luke Skywalker R2D2 thing going on, or like a Han Solo Chewbacca thing going on, where after a while they just start to understand one another, and so they end up kind of like talking. So now Hitmonkey is to go after, of course, this old lady, and we have at one point where Hitmonkey ends up going and taking this girl's arm and putting it into some machine where she completely loses her arm. But this doesn't stop this woman. And Bryce is like, oh my god, she's like playing through the pain? Like, oh my, this lady's crazy. So this girl just, I think, just takes a shoelace and just ties her arm off and then just continues to fight Hitmonkey. And so at some point we have Hitmonkey who is to go and push this woman through this one machine where she ends up getting chopped in half because she ends up going and falling upon this like assembly line thing where it's going to go and have her being chopped in half. And so Bryce is telling Hitmonkey, like, now, like, squeeze her for information, like, ask her questions. And Hitmonkey's like, I don't know how I'm gonna do that. Like, I'm a freaking monkey. How, like, and he's like, man, you really need to, like, Bryce is like, you really need to learn sign language. Like, fuck. Like, how about you just have him, like, learn how to do messages? Like, teach him how to, like, read and write or something. So that way, like, you can have him, um, have that dialogue that way. And either that or Bryce needs to have some like Patrick Swayze powers soon, so he can maybe kind of force push some something. Because Bryce was trying to go and help Hitmonkey by kind of using some ghost power to stop this woman, but then he realizes, oh yeah, I'm dead. Like I can't do anything. So after like they go and they chop this woman in half, like there isn't any information that they could get off of this woman, which is to help them lead to anywhere. So Bryce just tells Hitmonkey to go and grab the blood money and just go off to Las Vegas because I guess that's their only real true legitimate plan that they could have here. So we we transitioned Hitmonkey to going to Las Vegas, and so we have Ito, who had some part of this show, gets a new partner called um, Haruka, Haraka, Haraka. I am somewhere ballparkingly somewhere in there, right? Maybe. So Ito is to get this new partner, and Ito is just like, well, hey, like, I don't have anything to do. Like, you can come and watch me eat if that's what you really want to do. So, this girl just goes and gets water, and so, like, she's to listen, like, that her partner is to have one goal and one goal only, and is to find the man responsible, or the person responsible, killing his partner, and he's not gonna cuff him. And so Haruka is just like, well, so I'm going to cuff him? And he's like, no, I'm going to kill him. And so it's like, okay, sure, stereotypical cop, here we come. So his own brand of rough justice. So, uh, so Bryce and Hitmonkey are to go on and they follow the rabbit hole trail to having both Bryce and Hitmonkey uh, go and find some car that is be called 128, and Bryce is to say, "Hey, those were the soldiers that tried to kill me." Like that must be some attachment um, to like who. So we have to like figure out these people. We have to find them. We have to figure out what's going on. So Bryce and Hitmonkey are to make their way all to get to uh, General Kato. And so let me pause here for 1 second. All right. Because I was like, how does this all go full circle? How do we get all these characters? Because I know it's General Kato, where it's the main focus to get to this character, but I'm like, how did we get there? And so I was like, oh yeah, like, because I had just mentioned about Ken's funeral and how we have uh, Shinji going and putting down that he is to be in the race for this campaign, but like this doesn't all just rattle off and end there. So we have a moment where Bryce is to definitely not wanting or definitely not interested in going and seeing the funeral of a guy that he had killed. He completely refuses, but he can't help it because he's basically spiritually tethered to Hitmonkey, and Hitmonkey's to go further into this funeral. So Hitmonkey is, I guess, to see some Yakuza-like members that are going and killing some birds. And so Hitmonkey is to, of course, be very frustrated by these guys who are just kind of killing off these birds. So how this all is to play out is there ends up being like this kind of turf war battle right here in the funeral, and so all of a sudden like shooting starts, and so now Hitmonkey is to have to go and murder a lot of these guys and pick them off one by one by one, and so Hitmonkey then finally is to see the General Kato, and so General Kato is running out of this place, and so Hitmonkey is to go and take General Kato, chuck him in front of this bus, and run him over. And so Bryce is telling Hitmonkey, it's like, well, hey, are you finally going to go and do some real investigating work? Can you at least go and grab his wallet? So because like Hitmonkey is to see this general and is to see blood, the blood of his numerous monkeys that had all been killed because of him, one way or another. So Hitmonkey is to technically get his revenge, but there is still more involved in this. So we have it where at the tail end of this episode, both Hitmonkey and Bryce are to follow Akiko and Shinji kind of to their place. And so in the third episode, we have both Bryce and Hitmonkey talking to this monk. And so, like, both the monk can both understand both the monkey and Bryce, and so Bryce is like, "So what? Like, you can hear me, you can see me, you can," and the monk's like, "Yes, yes." So it seems like I'm assuming that they're gonna keep going back to these guys, possibly going to this monk, and because it seems that this monk is to try to get both of these characters to just kind of work cohesively together. Um, but it just seems like they're so stubborn, or they're so like like it'll be interesting to see how they get there. Like it's kind of this uh like you have these two guys from two different worlds, literally, because one was an animal before this and another was a hitman, and he is to be this overly confident, cocky guy who is to just think that he could have really gone and done anything. And so Bryce is to basically tell like this hit monkey like, oh, like what is kind of all of what he can do, uh like basically having to tell this monkey what to do because this monkey has no clue. So basically how Bryce is telling this monk, it's like, well, yeah, I killed all these guys basically myself. Like this hit monkey didn't even do anything. and so like and so we just have the monk going like, really? You're dead. Like how could you kill anybody? But it's just whatever. So we uh so these guys are to go off and are to make their way to General Kato's address, and they find out, or Hit Monkeys to find out that this guy is to have a son, and so Hit Monkey's like, oh, like I just killed somebody who has a son, and consistently we go through here, and Hit Monkey is to consistently feel awful by the people of which that he is to kill. And so Bryce is just like, stop that. Like, stop with that, like, sentimental crap. Like, come on. Like, you're going to have to kill numerous people every time you cry about it. Like, come on. So this address just leads them to have these two Yakuza guys who are to consistently go off about these two other twins called uh, uh, Kepe and Pepe, or Kepe and Pepe, if that's even correct. So Bryce is just like, okay, so I guess Kepe and Pepe were working with the general, and so now that he's dead, they're gonna just like, these guys are just here to kind of collect souvenirs. And so all of a sudden, we have these police officers that are now into this apartment. And so now guns are drawn, guns are blazing. And so Bryce is telling Hit Monkey, it's like, hey, because they're both in this closet together, hiding out. And so Bryce is telling Hit Monkey, it's like, dude, like you, you definitely need to like duck for cover, or you're gonna be dead because bullets are gonna be flying here crazily. So you go on and like find some place where you can like hide yourself. So Hit Monkey's put on this like army helmet and just kind of like be cowering on to the top of this closet. And so after guns are blazing, like people are to get shot. Uh, Bryce to say, it's like, well, I guess I had gotten like shot like 47 times. Like, how about you, Hit Monkey? And Hit Monkey's like, no, I'm fine. It's like, oh, good. Like, uh, so both of them like bust out of this closet, and so Hit Monkey is to go on and is to grab the sword of one of these Yakuza members, and is to now decide to go off and find where their bosses are, which I guess is to head them into this Dragon Casino. Or this, I think it's called Double Dragon Casino. So these two go to this Dragon Casino where like Hit Monkey is to, of course, just jump onto this one table. And so all of a sudden everybody's like, oh my god, like a monkey in this casino, what's going on? So Bryce did just be like, well, just start dancing weirdly, just start dancing and just start drinking, and like I'll come up with some other kind of plan. And so Hit Monkey just starts dancing, and everybody's like, oh, how cute, and he just starts dancing and drinking. And so all of a sudden Hit Monkey's to realize that he actually really likes drinking, that he just starts drinking and drinking, and like, so we find out that Bryce is to figure out that, I guess, the way that they can get themselves uh, to Kepe and Pepe is to continue to win games to make it to the highest roller, that so that way they can make it to Kepe and Pepe. So while we're having Bryce consistently cheat to help Hitmonkey win, we have where uh, Bryce is to see that they are dragging bodies in, and that they are to go off and like showcase like all this stuff for the villainous characters. So now Bryce and Hitmonkey are to like continue to cheat to win, because Bryce is telling everyone's hand. Bryce is telling Hitmonkey what to do, either to fold or to bid all in, and so Hitmonkey is getting really drunk to the point of him actually seeing his superior monkey kind of talking to him, and so his superior monkey is telling Hitmonkey like, "Hey, you're poisoning yourself with alcohol," and so like Hitmonkey just doesn't really care, and so like the whole dialogue between him and his superior, so like it's just this goofy kind of thing here. It's like the Lion King with like Simba and whatever. That's what I was immediately thinking of. And how is it that Bryce doesn't see this whole thing going on, because technically he's a ghost? But it's whatever, right? So Hitmonkey gets to this high roller like guy who kind of looks very much like Kingpin to me, but has a certain kind of different, unique kind of flavor to him. But it looks just like Kingpin to me. Like I think they were maybe going with like, hey, let's make this guy just look like Kingpin. All right, that's great. So we have it where it seems that Hitmonkey is stalling, trying to kill this guy off because they've basically gone to where their target is. So like Bryce is just like, Hitmonkey, like you were getting drunk on purpose. You were getting heavily drunk on purpose instead of trying to win. Like you're stalling. You need to go and kill these guys. So, and plus also Bryce is telling Hitmonkey that he shouldn't go and beat this guy via poker, like let him win. And so Hitmonkey is to go and beat this guy at poker. And so now we have this guy who's taking this monkey, chucking it into a room where, like, hey guys, like both uh, Kepe and Pepe, you go and you kill off this Hitmonkey. So really, we have one of these twins who is to desperately be in a fascination about having some kind of puffer fish or some kind of fish of some kind that is to have a paralyzing agent and then kill somebody afterwards. So this guy is to go and cut up this fish and is to put this fish into Hitmonkey's mouth. And so Hitmonkey is to be handcuffed. And so Bryce is to realize that, like, well, hey, you're cuffed, but when really looking at it, like, your feet are basically your hands. So, hey, how about you go off and you just try to kill all these guys, like using whatever you can. So, Hitmonkey is to go off and start stabbing into these guys and starting to kill them all off. And so we have Hitmonkey who just spits out the fish. And so Hitmonkey is to just kill all these guys off. And so now after their deaths, we have Bryce who's just kind of asking Hitmonkey, it's like, well, was you like getting drunk and doing all the things that you were doing? Was that like your plan all along, or was that just pure luck? And so Of course, Hitmonkey doesn't really answer, so it's just like, well, yeah, I guess it was just pure luck. So, really, that also has us complete the story because we find out that those two twins were actually related to the one coughing old lady. So I guess it's like full circle to just see that every one of these characters are going to at some point be connected, and we'll see how that continues to grow into this series. And so with that said, I think that covers most of these 3 episodes. I'm sure there's a huge bulk of things that I like try to just kind of quickly get through and do and whatever. But also these episodes are 20 some odd minutes apiece, and I've already gone through like 2 episodes worth of time talking about them. So we'll kind of see where the other episodes head if people are interested, but I'm also going to be interested in getting the heck out of here so I can get this review out. We'll see if people are interested in this. I'll continue to review it. I can understand if people have no interest in the show, just because it's like, oh, it's another Marvel thing where a lot of people are gonna go and find some reviews somewhere and just be, or they're just not gonna care about Hitmonkey because it's kind of a lower rung of Marvel characters, and like a lot of Disney Plus stuff no one really cares about either. So to get like a Marvel review about it, because a lot of people will just watch stuff regardless anyways. And so why get a review of things? But with that said, I'll continue to bust out these reviews because I want to cover this show anyways. So we'll see how that goes. Because I'm gonna watch this show. It's like I'm still gonna watch this show. It's like there's something interesting enough about it that I think I want to like see where this all plays out to be a show. So I'm gonna get out of here. Goodbye, buddy. Bye, buddy.